Example: locate the centroid of the shaded area. In this diagram, shaded area and composed of a big rectangle, a cut in the shape of a square, and half circle. And we will designate the big rectangle to area 1, the shape in the shape of a square, area 2, half circle, that's area 3. Area total is equal to area 1, which is the whole rectangle, minus area 2, which is the square, and minus the shape of half circle, or area 3. And that's equation 1. Find area 1, which is a big rectangle. The dimension is 8 meters by 4 meters. So 8 meters and 4 meters. So 8 times 4, and it is equal to 8 times 4 is 32 meter square. Area 2, which is a square, and it is 2 meters by 2. So 2 times 2, and the total area is 4 meters square. Area 3, which is a half circle, and the formula is 1/2 of the area of the circle, and in terms of diameter, that's pi over 4 d squared, and the diameter is 2 meters squared. And the area 3, it is equivalent to pi times 2 times 2, 4 over 4, so cancel out, and pi over 2, 1.571 meter square. So we have now the three areas at 1. Area total is equal to area 1, 32, minus area 2, which is 4 meters, minus area 3, 1.71, and the total area is equivalent to 32 minus 4, that's 28, minus 1.571, or 26.429, and it is in meters square. So that's area total. And to find the centroid of the area, we will designate first the x bar and y bar, or the location of the centroid. And we will presume that the centroid is along this point, and designate along the y-axis, and designate as x bar, and along the x-axis, and we will designate that as y bar. We will locate the location of x bar, which is along the y-axis, and y bar along the x-axis, using the formula x bar times area total is equal to the summation of all area times x, which is equivalent to a1 times x bar, and minus the cut size or shape of the square, so area 2 times x sub 2, minus area 3 times x sub 3, and this is equation 2. And now we will locate the value for x1, x2, x3 to find the x bar. We'll locate the x1, which is a big rectangle, and the location of the centroid of a rectangle is 1/2 of the length, which is, in this case, this is 4 meters, and the location is at this point. Based on the y coordinate, the x sub 1 is located at the y coordinate itself. So therefore, the value for x sub 1 is 0. X sub 2, which is a square, and the location of the centroid of a square is 1/2 of the base, which is 2 meters. So this is the point. The distance up to y coordinate is equal to x sub 2, which is equivalent to 1/2 of the base of a square, which is 2 meters, plus the distance from this point up to y coordinate is 4 meters minus 2 meters and divide by 2, and it is equal to 1 meter, so plus 1. And x sub 2, 1/2 times 2 is 1, plus 1, or 2 meters. X sub 3, which is half circle. Centroid of half circle, and the distance from this point up to this point, x sub 3. Centroid of a half circle, the distance from this point up to the centroid of the half circle is 1/2 of the diameter. So 1/2 of the diameter, which is 2 meters, plus from this point up to y coordinate, so 4 meters minus 2 meters and divide it to 2 meters, or divide by 2, and the value is 1 plus 1. So 1/2 of 2 times 1/2 times 2 is equal to 1 plus 1, or 2 meters. So the distances of x1 is 0, x sub 2 is 2, x sub 3 is 2 meters. Okay, for x sub 2, we have 2 meters, but the y coordinate and x sub 2 is at the left side. So therefore, the distance or the sign of x sub 2 should be negative. So this is negative sign. And at equation 2, x bar and multiplied by the area total, which is 26.429, is equal to a sub 1, 32, multiplied by x sub 1, or 0, minus area sub 2, which is 4 meters, or 4 square meter, 4, times x sub 2, that's negative 2, and minus a sub 3, or 1.571, and the distance x sub 3 is also 2 meters. So x bar is equal to 32 times 0 is 0, minus 4 times minus 2, that's 8, minus 1.571 times 2, 4.858, and we divide 26.429, and x bar is equivalent to 4 over 0.858 all over 26.429. It is equal to 0.183 meters and positive. So x bar is equal to 0.183 meters. X bar is equal to 0.183 meters from the right side of the y coordinate. Next, we will find the value for y bar. Same concept, except that's y bar and y. Y bar times area total is equal to the summation of all areas times y. And area 1 times y1 minus area 2 times y2 minus area 3 times y3, and this is y prime area 3, and equation number 3. We will find the value for y1. So y1, which is the rectangle, and the distance along the x coordinate, which is 1/2 of 4 meters, and therefore this is y1. And y1, 4 meters, half of 4 meters is 2, which is along x axis. So therefore y sub 2 is 1/2 of 4 meters, or 2 meters. Next, y sub 2. Y sub 2 is the location of the centroid for a square, and along the x-axis, and this is y sub 2. So 1/2 of the height of the square, so 1/2 times 2, and from this line point up to the x-axis, that's also 2 meters, so plus 2 meters. So 1/2 of 2 is 1 plus 2, or 3 meters. And last, we will find the distance y sub 3, which is at the centroid of the half circle. From this point up to x-axis, and this is y3. The centroid of the half circle, based on the formula, from this point up to this point, 4/3 r over pi, plus from this point up to the x-axis, and 1 plus 2, or 3, plus 3 meters. 4/3 of the radius, which is 1 meter, and divide by pi, plus 3. And y sub 3, so 4 times 1 all over 3 pi plus 3 is equivalent to 3.575 meter. Y sub 1, which is 2 meters, y sub 2, 3 meters, and y sub 3, that's 3.575 at 3, or equation 3. At equation 3, so y bar times area total 26.429 is equal to area 1 32 times y sub 1, or 2 meters, minus area 2, that's 4, and y sub 2 is 3 meters, minus area sub 3, which is 1.571, and y sub 3, 3.575, and y bar, and we divide everything by 26.429, so 26.429. So 32 times 2, that's 64, minus 4 times 3, or 12, 52, minus 1.571 times 3.575, and it is equal to 46.383. So therefore, y bar is equal to 46.383, and we divide by 26.429, and it is equal to 1.755 meter. So y bar is equal to 1.755 meter, and this is the value. Example: with reference to the plane area, determine the following. Letter A, the area of the plane in square millimeters. Letter B, the x-coordinate of the centroid. And letter C, the following gives the y-coordinate of the centroid. Shaded area, we will subdivide it into 4 shapes, which is in terms of a triangle and a rectangle. We will now designate the area. So the first triangle, we will designate that as area 1. The rectangle, designate as area 2. And another triangle, which is a big triangle, that's area 3. And the upper triangle, area 4. Area 1, which is a triangle, so 1/2 of the base is 30 millimeter, and the height is 90 millimeters. So 1/2 of the base times height, 30 times 90, and it is equivalent to 1350 millimeters squared. Next, area 2, which is a rectangle, so the base is 50 millimeter and the height is 90 millimeter. So 50 times 90, or 50 times 90 is 4,500 millimeter squared. Area 3, which is triangle, so 1/2 of the base, and the base is 20 millimeter, and the height from this point up to this point is 90 plus 30 or 120 millimeters. So 1/2 of the base, which is 20, times the height or 120 millimeter, and it is equivalent to 1200 millimeters squared. And last, area 4. Area 4 is also a triangle, and the base is 50 millimeter and the height is 30 millimeters. So 1/2 of the base, 50, times the height or 30 millimeter, and it is equal to 50 times 30 and divided by 2 or 750 millimeters squared. And to find the total area of the shaded area, area total is equivalent to summation of all A's or area, and it is equivalent to area 1 plus area 2 plus area 3 plus area 4. So area 1 is equivalent to 1350 plus area 2 4500 plus area 3 1200 plus area 4 750. So area total 1350 plus 4500, that's 5850 plus 1200 plus 750, or total area is equivalent to 7800, and it is in millimeters squared. The area of the plane is equal to 7800 millimeters squared. So this is letter A. Next, to find the x-coordinate of the centroid, which is along the x-axis, and we will designate that as y bar. So we will find the distance from the x-coordinate up to the y distance, and this is the centroid of the area, and we will designate this as the x coordinate. This is the distance y bar, and from this point up to, and this is the y coordinate, and we will have the distance x bar. The x coordinate of the centroid, which is we can find the value for y bar. For B, at x coordinate, we will have the y bar times area total, which is equal to the summation of all area times y, and y bar times area t. So area 1 times y1 plus area 2 y2 plus area 3 y3 plus area 4 y4. And we will find first the value for y1, y2, y3, and y4. So y1, which is the triangle, and the centroid of a triangle from the base is 1/3 of the height. So this is the centroid, and the distance is y1, and the distance for y1, which is 1/3 of the height of the triangle, and it is along the x-axis. So 1/3 of the height, which is 90 millimeter. So 90 over 3 or 30 millimeter. Next, y sub 2. Y sub 2 for a rectangle and the centroid, and we will designate this as y sub 2. So y sub 2, the centroid of a rectangle in terms of the height is 1/2 of the height. 1/2 of the height, which is 1/2 times the height, which is 90 millimeter, and it's equivalent to 45 millimeter. Next, we will find the distance y sub 3, and the distance y sub 3 is the triangle, which is 1/3 of the height of the triangle, and that's 120 millimeters. So 120 millimeters, so 120 over 3 or 40 millimeter. And y sub 4, which is the upper triangle, and this is the centroid of the triangle, and we will designate this as y sub 4. And for y sub 4, we will have the centroid and the base, which is 1/3 of the height of the triangle, plus from this point up to the x-axis or x-coordinate is 90 millimeter. So 1/3 of the height of the triangle, which is 30. 1/3 of the triangle of the height of triangle, or 30 times 1/3 plus 90 millimeter. So plus 90 millimeter, and it is equivalent to 1/3 of 30, that's 10 plus 90 or 100 millimeter. So we have now the values for y1 30, y sub 2 is 45, y sub 3 is 40, and y sub 4 is 100 millimeter. Y bar times area total is 7,800. 7,800 is equal to area 1 1,350, and y sub 1 30 mm, plus area 2 4,500, and y sub 2 is 45, plus area 3 1,200 times y sub 3 40 mm, plus area 4 750, and y sub 4 is 100 millimeter. And y bar is equal to 1,350 times 30 plus 4,500 times 45 plus 1,200 times 40 plus 750 times 100, total of 366,000, and we divide everything by 7,800, and y bar is equal to 366,000 all over 7,800, and y bar is equal to 46.92 millimeter, and this is the distance from the x coordinate, which is 46.92 millimeter. And for letter C, we'll find the distance along the y coordinate. So y coordinate, and we designate that as x bar. So the formula, x bar times area total is equal to summation of all area times x, and this is area 1 x sub 1 plus area 2 x sub 2 plus area 3 x sub 3 plus area 4 x sub 4, and this is x bar a total. So we will now locate the distances of x. So x1, which is the based on the area 1, and the distance from this point up to this point is x sub 1, and x sub 1 is equal to 2/3 of the base. 2/3 of the base of the triangle, which is 30 millimeter. So 30. So 2/3 of the base, which is 30, which is equivalent to 20 millimeter. Next, x sub 2. X sub 2 which is the center of the rectangle, up to this point, and that's x sub 2. And x sub 2, 1/2 of the base of the rectangle plus the distance from this point up to the y coordinate, or 30 millimeter. 1/2 of the base, 1/2 of the base, which is times 50, plus the distance from this point up to y coordinate, or 30 millimeter. So 1/2 of 50, and it is equal to 25 plus 30, or 55 millimeter. So x sub 2 is equals to 55 millimeter. Next, x sub 3, which is the distance from this point up to y coordinate. X sub 3, from the centroid up to the line, which is 1/3 of the base, 1/3 of the base, which is 20, and plus from this point up to the y coordinate, so 30 plus 50, or 80. And 1/3 of 20 plus 80 is equal to 86.67 millimeter. And x sub 4, x sub 4, x sub 4, from this point up to y coordinate, and that's x sub 4. X sub 4, from this point up to the edge of the triangle, that's 2/3 of the base, plus from this point up to the y coordinate, or 30. 2/3 of the base, which is 50, plus the distance 30, or it is equivalent to x sub 4 is equal to 63.33 millimeter. X bar times 7,800 for the area total is equal to a sub 1, which is 1,350, and multiply by the x sub 1, or 20 mm, plus a sub 2, which is 4,500, times x sub 2, 55 millimeter, plus a sub 3, 1,200, and x sub 3 is equal to 86.67, plus a sub 4, which is equal to 750, and multiplied by x sub 4, or 63.33, so 63.33, and x bar total, and divide by 7,800, 7,800, 426,001.50, and we divide by 7,800, or x bar is equal to 54.61 millimeter, and this is the value for x bar, 54.61 millimeter, and y bar, which is 46.92 millimeter, and these are the values.